Moving on to our next story now. Myanmar police clashed with protesters in the city of Dawei as the South Asian country remains in turmoil since the army seized power. The military coup has brought thousands of protesters to Myanmar streets. Despite the growing intimidation from security forces, police were out in force in cities and towns in a determined bid to stamp out the protests. Protesters gathering in the central city of Myanmar were forced to flee after the police fired tear gas at them. Local media reports say that one woman has been shot and killed. Police were seen firing rubber bullets and stun grenades to disperse crowds. In Mandalay, monks joined other protesters in the anti-coup demonstrations. The presence of monks has been lending moral authority to the movement, challenging the military rulers of the South Asian nation. The country has seen an outpouring of anger and defiance from protesters. Many of them have gathered to call for Suu Kyi's release and a return to democracy in the nation. The military detained the elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi and much of her party leadership, alleging fraud in a November election that her party won in a landslide. Uncertainty has grown over Suu Kyi's whereabouts. Reports suggest that Suu Kyi has been moved to an undisclosed location. Earlier, the leader was being kept under house arrest in Naypyidaw. Now, the Myanmar military has since annulled the results of the November general elections. Meanwhile, Myanmar's UN ambassador strongly opposed the military coup. In a dramatic speech to the UN General Assembly, he urged the international community to help restore democracy in the country.
Minglava, Niko Bonama Miane, Dujin of Dajimia Kamia, Mimiro Soyanide, Sida Anna Demu, Chachin Sontaye. Mimiro Gaza, Aung San Suu Kyi, Tamaraji Uwimine, Acha, Matiatin Kayataya Dumia, Chachin Lopeye, Nangano Ana, Pidu Piale Yashi, Democracy, Piale Yashi, Democratic Federal Piranzu di Tangye, Di Eyerobonji Almiego, Miro Alwa Didima, Pidu Bidamia, Alo, Sisi Lolo, Nini Nyon, Atudo.
For more on this, we are being joined by Thinzar Shinleyi, an anti-coup activist from Yangon. Thank you for being with us on this broadcast. Now, there has been an increased outpouring of anger and defiance from the protesters, and this despite the increasingly violent and forceful reactions by the police. What is the latest from the protesters on the ground?
This morning, we witnessed in Yangon, it was totally just like a battlefield alive in the city. Many people are running and hiding away from the police. The police just chased down the peaceful protester, even before they gather in the protest area. And they even throw tear gas to the peaceful protester, as well as they fire, guns. They open fires into the air, as well as setting off stun grenades to the protester. So now, at the same time, the protesters, they don't just disperse themselves. They hide somewhere else, and then they gather back again and protest again. So they were like around 7 times, in the area where I was living. I've been hearing a lot of sounds of the bombs. And protesters, they don't just give up. They didn't just give up. They are also chanting and gather themselves back. It was like such a battle between the unarmed protester and the police.
Right, now take us through some of the international reactions. We saw earlier even Myanmar's own envoy to the UN has called for the strongest possible action from the international community to restore democracy.
Yes, so we welcome the UN ambassador from Myanmar. He was denouncing the military coup. That's something we didn't expect, so we welcome that. At the same time, we also looking forward to hear more good news from the international community, like targeted sanction on the military general, not just individual general, but also on their businesses, because they own different businesses inside the country and they have their own resources to oppress further on the civilians. So we are looking forward for more targeted actions on these military generals.
Right, and we know now that there is uncertainty over the elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi's whereabouts. She was originally believed to be under house arrest, and now we believe she's been moved to an undisclosed location. Have you got any further details on this?
We were not sure because we could see her only when she was in the trial in the court, but it's been so long that we don't see her. You know, she's been outside. She's been out of our sight for so many days. It's been almost nearly half month now, so we're not sure about where she is now.
Right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us on that broadcast. That was Thinza Shinliyi, an anti-coup activist from Yangon. WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.